Good evening. Would you like to learn how to make this block? This is called the sister block. It's pretty interesting. And I thought I would like to do a brief demonstration. It's a very simple block. It looks very complicated, but it's very simple. So come along with me. Let's make this block. First of all, what you'll need is some supplies. You'll need either fat quarters, you need one of each color, or maybe you like the layer cake to make it all scrappy, or you like yardage. Oh, I put my yardage material away. Anyway, this quilt block is very simple. It's very easy. I thought I would take most of the hard work out. I've already pre-cut my blocks so that to save time. But you'll need a measuring ruler. You'll need a squaring up ruler. I'm using this slotted triangle because it is a 10-inch triangle and it works perfect for squaring up my block, but I'll set that aside for now. You will need a marking utensil. I have a pen. You'll also need a rotary cutter. And for those of us who are not perfect, our favorite tool, the thread ripper. You'll also need an ironing board, and a sewing machine, and a cutting mat. I have the rotating cutting mat because it makes it more feasible to work with the block itself. Now, when you cut your fat quarters, or when you open your fat quarter up, these are the most, they're easier. You want to press the fat quarter out, get all of the wrinkles out of it. I'll save that step for now, but we could always do a full demonstration educational tutorial later. I want you to know that a fat quarter is a 1/4 yard of material. It's 18 inches across and 21 inches long. It's cut the width of fabric. So you'll need 2 pieces of fat quarter or 2 pieces of yardage, depending on how you decide to do your block. Press those out and then measure out your block. This particular block I found on Pinterest. I seen the block. It looked very simple and easy, and I thought I would do it. It has not failed me, that's what I know. So what you'll, and I will pin the link below. It's a free pattern that was on Pinterest, and I'll pin the link below. So the first thing you want to do on this particular quilt block is you want to mark 2 inches by 2 inches on the corner, and then opposite corner 2 inches by 2 inches. So we'll lay this on our rotary mat. We'll count over 2 inches, 1, 2, and then mark it. And then we'll count up 1, 2, and then mark it. Now, only one side of the block, do not sew here. You'll do the same thing on this side. Go over 2 inches mark it, 2 inches, mark it, and leave one side of that block. Do not sew here. Do not sew. Now what you'll do is you'll sew from this mark to this corner all the way down to this corner. You'll lift up your needle, you'll start here, and you'll sew from here all the way down. So let's do that now. I have my sewing machine here. I'm going to set this aside. Bring my block down. I have my sewing machine here. Hopefully you can see. And what I will do is I'll sew a 1/4 inch. I'll sew a 1/4 inch from the edge of the material into, okay? So remember, we can't sew on this section. So I took it out, cut it off, and then I'm going to start sewing a 1/4 inch again. Okay, I'm going to snip these off on both sides. And there you have your opening here, okay? And then on the opposite side, you have your other opening. So now what you're going to do, that the directions say to do, is to draw a line from corner to corner, like a half square triangle. And I already marked my position here, so I'm going to draw a line corner to corner so that I make sure that I try to follow that. Okay. I'm going to take my cutting mat. I'm going to put that right here. Okay. And I'm going to cut on the line. I'm going to hold my hand here and position my fingers behind the ruler. Whoops. Behind the ruler, and secure the ruler on top, keeping my fingers out of the way of the cutting blade, and also so that my ruler doesn't move. I'm going to firmly press down and slice that. Okay, now the next instructions that we are supposed to do for this block is we're supposed to mark from this corner and this corner. We're supposed to go upward and across. And so I will follow 2 inches over at the bottom, 2 inches over at the top. And I want to make sure that my ruler is completely straight on the line here and here, as well as here. So I've got a line at the bottom here. I've got a line up here on this rotary mat, and it's straight across here. It's on my marking line here, which is 2 inches over, marking line here, which is 2 inches over, and I'm going to draw a light line there. We want to do the same thing from this corner to this corner. 2 inches. Sorry, I'm in a hotel trying to do this. Making sure that my block stays straight. And I'm going to go 2 inches over. Two inches there, 2 inches here, and then I will mark my block. Now, you'll do the same thing to the other side of the block. So this block will also get marked this way, okay? So then what we'll do, I'll set this one aside. So then what we'll do is we'll take our rotary cutter. We will also make that cut. Remember, holding firmly onto your ruler and keeping your fingers out of the way so that your ruler doesn't move. Make the same cut here. Now, this block, you've made 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts. And look at this. Isn't that interesting? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares for 1/2 of the block, and you'll do the same thing on this side. So then your block should look when you finally cut it all up, your block will look like this. Here's your 1/2 square triangle here. You've got the 1 cut here, the 1 cut here. That's your corner square. You'll have a strip and a strip, and then 2 1/2 square triangles because this is 2 pieces of material. And remember, you've sewn it all the way around, leaving 1 gap here and 1 gap down here, okay? You'll do the same thing to this side of the block, therefore making 1 full block out of this. So once you do that, let's set this aside because I have some already prepared for this demonstration. I'm going to clip these together so I don't lose them or misplace them. So once you've cut everything, you'll have all of these pieces, okay? You'll have all of these pieces cut from this block. I'll put it here so you can see it fully. Okay, so the right side and the left side gets cut exactly the same. So once you get that block cut, it should look something like this when you're finished, okay? This is on the seam here. So your opened end is here. Whoops, this was supposed to go up here. And your opened end is here, okay? So each end is open, all right? Now, let's assemble the block, okay? So this is what we're gonna do. The first thing you do is you take your two squares. Each corner square, I'm going to finger press this open. Each corner square, you're going to open it up, finger press, and on this particular block, because there's so many seams, you want to press the seams open, okay? Press them open. So when you sew them together though, you're going to sew them opposite of one another, like that. This is called a 4-patch, okay? It's a 4-patch. So you're gonna match those seams up so that you can sew that together. Make sure they line up. And then we're going to sew on the 1/4 inch line on the machine. Make those stay aligned. Normally I would iron this, but for demonstration purposes, I will just try to whip it together really quick. Never sew over your pins, because it can break your needle. Okay. Now you open that up and you have a little 4-patch. Okay. And then you're going to press that open with your fingers, or this, you can press it open with an iron. Mine's all the way across the room over there. I'm just going to try to do this as best as I can from this little desk. Now the next thing you want to do is grab each corner. I'm going to turn that, and we're going to put this together. I don't want to grab that. I'm going to grab this one, I think. It's probably this one. You have to know which one to, what you're doing is you're just making it opposite of what's on okay? So we're going to sew this together here and here. And I want to press this open. I don't want to push it to one side. I want the seams to be fully opened. because it's less bulk. So now I'm going to match this up, make sure the seams nest together, and it's going to be blue and red, or purple and red, opposite each other. See? So, gonna get a stick pin so that this stays lined up and it doesn't move on me. Make sure. It's a small space to work in. So we're doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all the way around. Quilting, you use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Take my pin out. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Finger press open. Easier said than done. See if I can get that pin in there. Open that up. Match those notches. Make sure they nest. And then sew it down, 1/4 inch. That needle up. Everything's still straight. Okay. So far, so good, guys. So far, so good. Press it open. Now, when we're completely finished, I will take it to the ironing board and press it open. Make sure our seams are fully opened. Finger pressing is not a bad deal, but it's not. Okay, so there you have. That is the centerpiece, okay? We're gonna set that aside. Now, the next step we're gonna do is we're going to open up the other 2 wings. I say wings, strips. Finger press that open. Okay. Set that one there. Finger press open. Now you're not going to have to worry about these little tips here on this block, because once we get finished, we will we will, once we square up the block, everything will be well, I almost did that again. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this block here and we're going to put it opposite, okay, and then this one opposite, and that's going to be our next block, okay. So I'm going to put this down here, and on the you match the, put the good sides together, the front to the front, and then you just sew down 1/4 inch. Snip these little strings off. If I can get it to press open. Doesn't want to press open. Okay. And now we're going to put the other side on. This is such a cute, quick and easy little block. Sometimes I'm directionally challenged. I've put the block together incorrectly once on one side, but the other side was put together properly, so you got to pay attention to the way the direction of the triangles are going, because sometimes you can mess that up. So there's the other side of the block. Let me press that open, finger press it. Snip these little strings off. I'll put this back on my mat so you can kind of get an idea of what it's looking like. Okay, next. Now we're gonna do the same thing again. Gonna put the blue on the red side. Make sure I've got that the right way. Whoops, see? That would have been the wrong way. Although, I had my block all upside down, didn't I? So we're gonna put the red on the blue side. Sew that 1/4 inch down. And you always put right sides together on the block. Right sides together. I like this material here. These are called a Baltic block. That means they print them by hand. Which is really cool. I love Baltic blocks. I like Baltic materials, I mean. Not Baltic blocks. I mean, I do like Baltic blocks, but the Baltic printed material, I just love all the different unique designs that they come up with. Okay. Finger press that open. Okay, and now we put this block together. So we have to sew this together and this together and then square it up. So we're gonna match up the seams on each of these sides. Make sure they kind of nest together there. See that? Oh, see how they nest together? I'm gonna pin that real quick. Pin these so that they can be straight, so they all match up. And that's just to hold it in place so that we know that our seams match. Okay, and then I will use this little clip here just to hold that material in place. Then we'll sew another 1/4 of an inch down. I had to make sure that material was up under there. Take my needle out, don't want to sew over that. Keep our material aligned. Finger press this open. This block is supposed to be, I think it's 11 inches when it's completed, an 11-inch block. But the instructions that I attach below will give you all of the dimensions. It gives you the amount of material that you'll need for each, for the complete quilt. Okay, we're almost done. Now let's match up the other side. Secure that with this little clippy here so our material doesn't move. Let's move these things out of the way so we can get to our machine. Make sure everything stays straight and secure. Just want to make sure it's all straight. Finger press that open, and there we have it. The block is complete. And I will take this over to the ironing board and press it open so that you can see how cute it is. What do you think? Do you like it? I love it. Mine is going to be a scrappy quilt, but overall I love it. So once I press this out, then I'll take my slotted ruler and I'll trim up the edges. So let's go to the ironing board. So you can see me press this out. Let's see if I can get over there without tripping. Yes, I'm in a hotel. Can you guys see me? Oh, let's get that. I'll remove my pressing mat or my cutting mat, but I want to press this from the back side first. Oh, got a couple of strings. But isn't this cute? I want to press them all open. If you notice, I'm just trying to use the tip of the iron right now because I don't want to the fabric to get distorted. Because I just want to press it open. There. A couple of these didn't want to stay open, but I just want to kind of open them up there a little bit so that they can lay flat. It's going to be so pretty. Okay, got that flat. Isn't that cute? Now what I'm gonna do is square this up. So I'm gonna put this on my mat. Let me get my squaring tool. This particular slotted triangle ruler is a 10-inch ruler. So, I don't know if you can see this or not, but see where the seam line is on the ruler itself? This is a 10-inch seam line right there. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to put this seam line on that line. Nope, I need to put it on this line. Nope. There. Let me get my rotary cutter. Maybe it's because I'm sitting down and the light is glaring on. Cut it on the wrong one. Okay, and what we'll do is we're going to trim off the uneven. I'm afraid I'm going to burn myself on that. So I'm going to just cut along the edges to clean up the edge of this block. And notice I only do one corner at a time. Okay, because you have to keep your block on the mat You want it to stay lined up. Now, I don't know why, but I've done this a couple of times and I don't know why this part always ends up longer for whatever reason, but it does. So what you're doing here is you're lining up this center line here, the line down here on the seam line, okay? And that way you can make sure everything gets cut properly. Okay. Now, I don't know if you saw this on this ruler also, but see how it has a line up the middle of the ruler? That's the center point, and that center point will be into this block. And then our other line we're following is here, which is the seam line. So I'll show you that again. So here's my center line, here's that line. So I'm gonna line that up as close as possible. And my seam line is here. Okay. And then we will trim that up. Very little trimming. And then one more corner. Center line. And the seam line. So the seam line is going straight on the quilt block. Okay. And then we'll trim up those edges. Very little waste. So what do you think, guys? Voila! Turned out great, didn't it? Very nice. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see more videos on how to make unique, different blocks, give me a like, a share, and a follow. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.